I think what will have Trey in there is the fact that Jimmy's not in there because he's just not available, because he is injured. And I hate talking about it in that context, because you're almost, that's just like putting negative vibes out there about what's going to happen to Jimmy G from an availability standpoint. But just think of it this way. This is the fourth offseason that he's gone through in San Francisco. It's only the second offseason, though, that he's been able to actually fully participate. And Kyle mentioned the fact that, look, he's locked in, man. He looks as good as he's ever looked. And quite honestly, he's had some of the best games of any quarterback in the NFL when he has been on it and he has been healthy and he's had his full complement of weaponry around him. So he's not going to just give this job to Trey. And I don't think Trey has enough time to really grasp everything that they're trying to do, to the point where Kyle would be like, you know what, we're going to put you in there. Now, when you get drafted number 3 overall and your head coach and the GM is talking about you the way they are, that being Trey Lance, and you're 6'4", 225 pounds, you're only 21 years old, you have one of the fastest game speeds measured by next-gen stats, of any skill position player in the NFL when you take his game speed from college and translate it to the pros. Look, it's hard to keep you off the football field, and I think they will sprinkle him in as the year goes on as much as they possibly can. But I just see Jimmy G really responding to this. He has the right DNA. He was brought up in the NFL the right way. I think he'll play some of his best football. Unfortunately, the odds are something's going to happen to him where Trey's going to have to play by week 8, week 9. And if he does, I think you're going to see why they drafted him number 3 overall, because having seen this kid up close, stood right next to him, talked to him, this kid's a freak now in every sense of the word. I mean, that's just nothing but compliments I'm giving him. He's a freak. And there's a reason why, that Kyle and the rest of the people in San Francisco are excited, and everyone else is going to be too when they fully unleash him on the NFL. Probably very similar to the way people were excited when Kansas City unleashed Patrick Mahomes.
So I'm glad you said that, Lou, because that was going to be my next question to you. In an ideal situation, knock, knock, on wood, everybody stays healthy, would Jimmy G finish out the season and Trey would have the opportunity to just learn? Or is there, at some point in this season, whether it's health or not, do you see him moving into that starting spot?
Yeah, I think, Monica, look, I think that he'll stay the starter, as long as he stays healthy. I think Jimmy will respond to this challenge. He will be a professional because that's what he's always been. And this football team, as is presently constructed, will be right there in contention for the NFC title and then for a Super Bowl berth. I believe that wholeheartedly. I've always been a big believer in Jimmy. And Freddie, you're right. This team was one throw away that you just see go across your screen right there to Emmanuel Sanders from basically not even allowing Kansas City to kind of launch into this dynastic we're in right now in terms of trying to stack together Super Bowl wins, because they don't even win their first one. It would have been San Francisco that was hosting the, and Jimmy G would have probably been named the MVP of that Super Bowl. So I think there's no doubt that ideally they'd like for this to be one of those situations where they have time. Because, look, Trey's only 21 years old. He's going to play, hopefully, 10, 12, 15 years in San Francisco. There's no rush to put him in there. And if Jimmy can provide that kind of stability and allow them to take their time, just like Kansas City did. I know people say, well, look, that's not a very realistic model. But you know what? It's the ideal model. It really is, because you saw what it did for Patrick. You saw what he benefited from learning from Alex. Trey could benefit the same way. And in 2022, all hell could break loose. And that's exactly what they want.
Yeah. Speaking of all hell breaking loose, because I got this question real quick to you, Lou. The quarterback market next year, because he's going to be part of that quarterback market, what kind of teams could be in play for Jimmy G? Because every time you turn around, it seems that the quarterback position is settled with young quarterbacks for a lot of teams. The quarterback market may not be there for him next year.
Yeah, but Freddie, the quarterback market's always so fluid, as you know. And what we think are our needs today turn out to not be our needs tomorrow. And what we think aren't our needs turn out to be our needs, right? Things change so quickly at quarterback because it's such a very razor's edge type of position. So I think there's always going to be a need. I think for Jimmy, again, it sounds cliche, but controlling the controllables is what he needs to do, which is just stack some wins, man. Get 10, 11, 12, 13 wins. Get this team back to a Super Bowl. And Jimmy's mark is going to be just fine. Look, he's paid anyway. He's good anyway. He's made already. He's already accumulated generational wealth. He's not chasing money. Jimmy's good. Jimmy now is trying to really, quite honestly, if I'm Jimmy and if I'm putting myself in his shoes, he's chasing respect because nobody respects him really. Everybody always says, look, he's the kind of the guy who was Tom Brady's understudy, the guy who's not quite good enough for Kyle. I mean, people get tired of hearing that kind of stuff. You know that as athletes. You get tired of being doubted.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.